Wrocław for a long time has been called a meeting place, but to be fair, the participation in Wrocław has been, to say the least, difficult for those times. There has been many social movements, urban movements, and NGOs and activists were very not satisfied with how the participatory processes are being treated by the municipality, by the president. So the Citizen Assembly, the process came as a surprise to many, but also they were a bit suspicious. And those social movements from the very beginning tried to engage into the process, into the planning of it, have some influence, impact, and take care of it so that it's being implemented in a really democratic and participatory way.
The Citizens Assembly in Wrocław was ruled in 2020. It was a hard year because of the COVID pandemic, but we managed to organize it somehow. There were, well, in fact, two questions asked in Wrocław. One was about how to communicate the peripheries of the city with the city center, either by tram or by bus, fast bus. And the second was about to make a special traffic zones in the city center, like only with electric cars or something like that.
The Citizen Assembly has been organized and run and moderated, facilitated by a local NGO, but the one that has had a very long history of involvement in participatory processes and practices in Wrocław. They are also specialized in mediation and conflict resolution. So in this regard, they had brought their experience and competences into the process, and you can tell that it worked by the effects and how the Citizen Assembly has been conducted.
The discussions was quite interesting. We invited many experts in the field of transport, climate change, and so on. And in fact, at the end, people gave really, I would say, progressive recommendations. So most people were for trams. They believe that trams are better ways of connections in the city center. And also, many people were for really strict zones in the city center to make the air clean, so to stop intensive car rush in the city center. So this was the results. Of course, after these 3 years, some people say that it's disappointing because not every recommendation were transformed into real action. So that's the case in Wrocław, and that's the reason of many frustration among citizens, activists, and also non-governmental organizations.
Definitely observing the moderators and facilitators in work was very impressive. Although when talking to them, I knew they didn't have a single strategy, but all of them brought their own competences and intuitions and years of experience in mediation, in the field of mediation, into the process, and they could really make many voices heard. They did not let the process flow just with the people who had the most to say, or the loudest voices, or the most powerful opinions and persistent. So in this regards, a lot of voices could have been included and involved in the final outcome. So this is something that I really think worked best.
It was really a huge achievement to have such big group of participants, citizens who applied, who took part in it. So in my opinion, it's a big lesson for Wrocław how to design projects to involve group of people who represents the structure of the city, and I think that we learned really a lot from that, and it showed that it's possible to find space for dialogue between people from very different groups, from different social background, different age, and it was rare occasion for that.
What didn't work well, in my opinion, is the organization of the process from the perspective of first presenting a lot of expert knowledge in the first 2 days, and then a few weeks later leaving people to deliberation. Because of how broad the topic was, there were so many experts presenting for 2 full days with short lectures, with knowledge from different fields, social, technical science, from their own experience from different cities in Poland and not only. That I think that participants were overwhelmed, especially given that not all of them were students or young professionals who are accustomed to teaching, to learning, to the learning process all the time. But there were also older people who got tired easily, and their cognitive limitations made it difficult to stay focused throughout the whole day, but also to remember all the arguments and use them in a fruitful way a few weeks later in the debate.
There were several aspects that I would really like to improve, what finally it ended with, and what the situation that we are in now. So there were really fantastic recommendations from our panelists, from people who took part in it, but they are very slowly implemented, and it's, as far as I know, pretty disappointing for people who participated and for those who were involved as experts, as activists, to follow the whole story of the panel. So there was huge potential, and there still is really a lot of potential in the recommendations that we managed to gain together, but I would be really happy if it could be implemented faster, and treated seriously with those by the majorities of Wroclaw.
For me, it was very interesting and important that it was the opportunity to meet different people. Yes, we live in information bubbles. Yes, so we meet only people who we know and agree with, and so on. And we have not many occasions to meet with people with completely different experience or completely different opinions. And assembly was an opportunity to break these bubbles. And even if at the end the result was not as satisfying as it should be, I think this is the success of the business assembly.
It's difficult to assess whether it was fully successful or not. However, for a future, a recommendation that we can have is that it definitely should be more focused on simple matters, and not given a very broad area to discuss, debate, and make recommendations within such a short time, and by such a large group of people. So these are the learnings that we have, and luckily I can say that the city is trying to implement some of these learnings, not organizing another citizens assembly, but rather moving towards smaller, shorter, more compact, but at the same time more comprehensible to the participants forms of deliberation and public consultation.